please. All right, here we go. Awesome. So Luke says, "Hey, I'm just curious. I'm wondering, what you have to say. That's why I'm here." Bob's been in coaching for 15 years. Awesome. And you want to expand your coaching business. Fantastic. New in my journey, just launched full-time working towards my PCC. Fantastic. I just got my ACC, so I know what it's like going through that journey, even though I've been coaching for 5 years. So we're all at different places in our journey. So absolutely fantastic. Tell me more. What do you want to get out of this training? I want to make sure I support the heck out of you today. Tell me, why are you here? Not, Luke, I know there's more than just because you want to hear what I have to say. I know there's something else you want to get out of this. Do you want to sell your coaching? Do you want to learn a better way to sell? Is this something you wish your coach training program had done? That's something I looking to get your first paid client, Erica. Yes, it's those first paid clients that start the spiral of everything in your coaching journey. So fantastic. You are in the right place. All right, we'll just give it 30 more seconds here before we start today. This is a fantastic turnout. We have some amazing prizes at the end. Anne and Jen, if you're pinned, unpin yourself. I don't actually think you are pinned, but give everybody a wave, Anne and Jen. They will be helping out in the chat. I get easily distracted, and so I'm going to be focusing on you, and I'm going to be pausing every now and then to look at the chat and catch up. So please, in real time, put your questions in the chat, and if you have something you want to ask, but you don't want the entire room to hear or see, please message Anne or Jen privately. And at the end, they will ask me those questions. Okay? Sound good? So if you're coming in again, Anne, please put in the chat that prompt. I want to know where you are in your coaching journey, beginning, middle, or end. I'd also love to know why you're here and what brought you here today. Last, I'll do a call one more time. I want you to turn those cameras on if you can. Turn those cameras on. Grab some tea, water, pen, and paper. And as we dive in today, there's actually something I do before every sales call, every coaching call I host. And I'll teach you a lot of things during our time together today and hopefully in the future. But one thing I want to really impress upon you is how you feel in that sales call matters so much more than anything you will say. And so today I'm going to help us get a little bit grounded before we dive in. And this is what I always do before my sales calls is I do a daily reading, a daily meditation. And I actually haven't read today's yet, so I'm going to read it with you here today. I also make sure that I'm comfortable, my lighting is right for my calls, make sure I have tea or a glass of water. So I feel really settled and confident as I dive in to coaching or selling or whatever it is, because that matters so much. So as we settle in here today to our time together, I invite you to put both feet on the floor, close your eyes if it feels good. And just settle into this space and be here. You have come so far, many of you, working on your coach training, working to perfect your craft, your offers. And let's honor that time we've spent and really focus here because this work is so important. Today, the reading is called Trust the Unknown. Look, see how much you've changed. See the difference in your perspective. Remember all those years you were so fearful, trying to peek ahead, trying to see what the future held. Remember how upset you got, how uncertain and abandoned you felt? Because you didn't know the plan? Now life has taken you to a place for you, but a place that is ancient. All along, you were not supposed to be getting the answers about what the future held. You were supposed to be learning the magical way of trust and inner guidance, learning to feel your way through, trusting and committing to your vision, your energy, your purpose, your place. Each day and moment along the way, you were supposed to be learning to allow the universe to magically unfold and trust that it would. You have been learning this lesson. You have been learning it well. See how you delight in life's magic now, the surprises, the not knowing, the absolute trust in the universe to bring you and your answers, manifest your visions, and help you when you can't quite see. See how much you cherish your relationship to the universe, a relationship so much broader and more encompassing, and so much more vital than you could ever before imagine. See how joyfully you walk your path, enjoying all the sights, opening your heart to loved ones and strangers. See how benevolent it really is when you are not able to see ahead. Not knowing has taught you about life's magic. It has connected you to yourself and to the universe. Not knowing has taught you to know more than you could ever imagine. These are always so relevant, and I hadn't read that ahead of time. So connected to the coach's journey. And as we dive in here today, I would like you to open your mind and your heart to a new way and really think about a different possibility as we dive in here today. Give me a nod if you can see my screen. Yes, I can see you. Can you see this? Absolutely wonderful. So you're in the right place here today. If you are a coach in training, if you're in the middle of your journey, or even if you've just graduated, you're also in the right place if you are a service-based provider and not ICF affiliated. That's okay. And in fact, what we talk about in regards to ICF is only going to enrich your journey. This beautiful woman here, her name is Joy. And as we get started, I'd love to share with you a story that for me really solidified how life-changing even a sales call can be. So let me set the stage. This was a few years ago in Columbus, Ohio, and I had just finished speaking for a coaching event. I walked out into this room and this beautiful woman with wild eyes came running towards me. And I don't know about you, but people look very different in person than they do on that little Zoom screen. And I started to get hot all over and a little bit nervous. And she said, Michelle, it's me, Joy. See, Joy and I had had a conversation, a sales conversation the year prior. And what that means is that Joy needed support. And I was selling a program at the time that I thought could support Joy. So we got on a call to talk about it. And when Joy saw me, all those feelings from that sales conversation came rushing back. And she was so excited to tell me all the amazing things that had happened. And at the end of that conversation, Joy looked at me and she started to get teary-eyed. And then I started to tear up, of course. And she said, Michelle, thank you. That sales call changed my life forever. I walked away and I thought to myself, what? This is sales? And this is sales. This is what we do. And this today is what I get to introduce to you. A way of selling that's so joy-filled that even years later, your clients will seek you out to say thank you so much. That call and our work together changed my life forever. So how are we going to do this today in the short period of time we have together? Well, let me tell you. First, we're going to switch how we sell. I'm going to show you how to turn your coaching into a high-ticket offer that sells with ease. I'm going to teach you about something called an activation fee and help your client say yes on that first call and understand the value of that. I'm going to whisper in your ear as we go, because a good coach, just like you all are, helps a client understand the brilliance they already have inside. But a consultant, which is where I dabble right between coaching and consulting, I'm sometimes just going to whisper in your ear and I'm going to say, hey, here's what I know after taking 1,000 sales calls and enrolling hundreds of clients in high ticket programs. You can just do these little tricks to help people show up, all the things. I'm going to whisper in your ear as we go along the way. Okay. I want to know about you, but first I want to share really briefly a little bit about me. I want you to understand that I didn't just walk off the street and accidentally decide to start teaching coaches how to sell their services. I'm actually a trained journalist. I've lived and worked all over the world. I've sold real estate in one of the wealthiest communities in the world and been in the Peace Corps in West Africa, where I actually met my husband. I've worked for the Cleveland Clinic doing fundraising, which is another form of selling. And I once raised $1 million over lunch for charity with a single conversation. And all that is really fun and interesting things. But what matters to you is this, and that I worked in a coach training program for 5 years. And I taught people in that program how to sell their services before graduation with incredible results. And I saw, because we had so many coaches coming through, I saw exactly what stops coaches from selling and what roadblocks we need to bust out of the way in order for you to get past those fears and to start selling your coaching for thousands. Like you, I'm so much more than my work. I have 3 little boys. I just ran them to school. I'm a soccer mom. I drive a minivan, both doors open on both sides. I like to say that I'm very fancy. I love to travel. In fact, I just got back from speaking at ICF Argentina about integrating the ICF Core Competencies into the sales conversation. And I'm actually going to an ICF conference if anybody's going next month in DC. All right, focus on you. Larry, I see you there. Patsy, I'd love to see your beautiful face. I want to know, who are you? And I don't want to know what makes you extraordinary. I don't want to know about that $1 million gift that you raised over lunch. I want to know what makes you ordinary. So go ahead and put that in the chat here for me. This is really important as we go to sell our coaching, because it's what's ordinary about us that connects us and attracts us, especially to those first clients that we have. So are you a dog mom? Do you have kids? Are you single? Do you like to travel? Lori, Donna, Trish, put it in the chat for me. Just one word. I drink my coffee black. Something very ordinary about you. Erica, awesome. I love to travel. Mike, I love it. Okay, Mike lives in a farm in Indiana. Awesome, right? So when you think about these things that make you ordinary, this is what's going to attract these clients to you. I'm a mother of twins. Great, awesome. What could our niche be, right? It's not that you're switching your coaching and what you do. It's just how you share it. Awesome. I'm a grandfather. Keep them going. Oh, I love vision boards, right? Oh, some great ideas for workshops to bring those clients in. Paula, fur babies and sipping coffee out on the patio. Who can relate to that? Builders and leaders. I'm a husband and father of 2. Awesome, Luke. I love, so often men don't bring the parenting into it, right? When we think about how we can connect with others, can we raise our hand and say, I'm trying to juggle this? Morning tea. Melissa, my son, Silas, started drinking morning tea. He's so cute. He brings it in a mug to school and they want it in bed too. I don't know if that's good for cavities, but I'm bringing them tea in bed lately. I like making new friends. Write these down. I'm saving them for you too. But I literally have so many ideas for where those first, second, third, fifth clients come from, just based on what you're sharing with me here. Keep them coming. I love adorable dogs. Oh, me too. Okay. Really, what makes you ordinary? All right. I love this participation and I want you to keep it going. I want you to think here, go back in time. What's the biggest impact coaching has had on your life? Not the biggest impact you've had on others, but the biggest impact it's had on you. So if you know a little bit about me, you know that coaching really impacted my marriage, and I'll share even more about that with you here today. But it was actually coaching that changed where it was really a struggling marriage about 5 years ago. And wow, did I want everybody to experience this. So tell me, what was it, even in 1 or 2 words, sometimes hard to think back? Did it change a relationship with kids? Did it change how you speak to yourself? Right? That's a really big one. But what was the biggest impact? Why do you want other people to experience this? Right? What's that biggest impact? We have to experience it for ourselves. Erica says listening more, right? We turn on our superpower as coaches. Now I can hear in between the words when my kids say, Mom, I hate you. I know they're saying, Hey, I need a hug. I feel insecure. Come on, right? It's helped us in other areas of our life, not just our business, not just those very next steps. You want to live your life now. Hot damn, right? It sometimes for people, it changes everything. I want to be here now. Really incredible, vulnerable share. Thank you so much. Sharon says she's more self-aware. Mary, thank you. Put these in the chat, not just for me, but for you, because no matter where this takes you, this is really important. And when we have a sales call, we focus on the client, but they want to know too, why? Why are we doing this work? Okay. So thinking about that big impact that coaching has had on you, how important, and I want you to be really honest with me here, right? It doesn't matter to me necessarily, although I want it to be a 10. How important is it for you to sell your coaching, for other people to have the same life-changing impact in their lives on a scale of 1 to 10? Put it in the chat for me, a 10, awesome. Sometimes we get sixes. Sometimes we get people who come on and they say, you know what? I just did coach training for me. And that's okay. And having that kind of come to Jesus moment, as my mom likes to say, before we get started is really important. So Melissa says 8, 7. So some people, it's a nice to have. I have a coach that I've worked with who sells her coaching part-time and she works full-time. She makes an extra 60 grand a year. And so it's really kind of a 7 for her. She's like, well, it's nice, but I don't need to pay the bills. So fantastic. Keep putting those in the chat. I love that. For me, it was a 20. It was off the charts. Coaching saved my marriage, and I wanted everyone to have that. I literally was like screaming for the rooftops, texting everybody I know. Michael, thank you so much. We're so glad you're here. Bob, I'm so glad you're here. Put it in the chat for me on a scale of 1 to 10. Awesome. And if you can, one more call to turn on those cameras. I'd love to see your beautiful face. Now, I've shared with you a little bit about my past and how coaching has changed my marriage. And it was actually this pivotal experience that ties into what we're learning here today about moving past the single session pay as you go model. And it was 5 years ago. I'm going to share a story with you that really solidified for me how important it is to move away from single sessions forever. Because the single session model let me down in a really, really big way. I found myself, as I often do, in my minivan. But this time I was in the middle of a parking lot, sobbing uncontrollably, like not one of those cute cries, like one of those ugly, ugly cries. I had just finished speaking with my therapist for the first time. And I had shared with her all of these horrible things that were going on in my life. My 10-year marriage was on the rocks. My 3 kids were driving me crazy, and I was burning the candle at both. So you can imagine my sadness, upset, just completely feeling forlorn at the end of the 60-minute session when I stared up at the Ivy League degree on the wall. And my therapist said to me, Michelle, I'd love to work with you. Why don't you go ahead and schedule another session when you're ready? Doesn't sound like that big of a deal, right? But can anybody guess? What is the mistake the therapist made? Why did I leave that session feeling even more lost than when I arrived? And what could that therapist have done or said to help me feel settled and cared for? And how could she have helped me in the process? So I'm going to pause here a minute because sometimes this takes a few minutes to kind of think about. But what happens when the therapist just listened to me and then sent me on the way and told me to schedule? Anybody know? Put it in the chat. Keith, what's your guess? Trish, what's your guess? Lori, I know you have a guess. Paula, I love it. Paula says, okay, Melissa says she could have given you times. I mean, it's so true. Very simple. She could have gotten you scheduled. Paula says she didn't create a space for us, right? There wasn't that space. She didn't create that container of support. I felt helpless, even more helpless, because here I had finally taken the time to schedule with the person that was supposed to help me. Bob, she didn't, no affirmation of what was possible. Very good. I love that. Lori, I didn't feel heard. I mean, you're not wrong there, right? She didn't feel reflect back to you the same way as you do in coaching. Wonderful. I love that. Carolyn says she could have told you she knew she could help you, right? She has a PhD from an Ivy League degree. I sure as heck hope she can help me. And I sure as heck hope she could articulate that to me. Awesome. Keep those coming. So here is let's do that. Wayne's World, time warp. Here's what I envision, and I wish to God she would have said, because she would have saved me so much money, heartache, time, and money. I want you to listen here. I'm going to hold up my finger when I say important things, okay? I envision her saying something like this. Michelle, I am so sorry you're experiencing this. And I don't know that our time together can save your marriage. But here's what I do know. That when we work together, when you show up for yourself 100%, you're going to feel so much better and know that you did everything you could for your husband, for your kids, for your family, but most importantly, for yourself. Here's what I propose and how I typically work with clients. We normally work together in a 3-month container of support. We meet every other week. And in between our sessions, this is where the magic happens. I'm going to give you homework, and it's going to be self-prescribed. Things like go on a date with your spouse, hang out with your kiddos one-on-one, take some time for yourself. And now again, I can't guarantee that this will save your marriage, but I know you're going to feel a heck of a lot better in the next 3 months. I typically charge $1,500 for a 3-month container of support. You can go ahead and get started today with that $500 activation, and your first of 2 payments comes out 30 days later. Let's go ahead and get you scheduled and plan out our sessions, and let's assign you your first homework. That would have been an offer I couldn't refuse. Here, the person who was meant to help me has created this loving container of support. She's made her life easier, scheduled out her sessions, and she's charged me more. She, in fact, true story, charged $125 an hour with an Ivy League degree, right? I wanted to be charged an amount that had me coming back, stepping up, doing the work. I would have paid double. So let's break this down because it's so simple and so loving. And this is something you can do right now, changing how you serve your clients. You can do this before you graduate and how you practice. You can do this with your very first clients. So what makes a client coaching partnership so good, right? This is painfully simple as good things are. Can you write this down? A specific start date. Okay, we didn't start 2 weeks into the future. We didn't start 6 months into the future. We wrote down the exact date. So in my mind, I even had work to do, right? It might have been even just hang out with my spouse one-on-one, specific start date. So painfully simple, we had an end date in mind. Think about therapy or other things you've done, personal training, when it just goes on and on and on. You're not as motivated. But when we have this short period of time, it hugs that container of support and invites us to step up. Last but not least, this is vital. We do this on the sales conversation, the activation fee, the exchange of money. It's so powerful in our society. It's just such an incredible thing that we step up and we do the thing when there is an exchange of money. So that's what I invite you to do is a start date, an end date, and an exchange of money right there, no invoicing, and we'll talk about that more. Exchange of money, that activation fee. Okay, so some of you are going, well, this is just a package, right? No. I had a mentor, and she used to say, Laura, she used to say, single set packages are worse than single sessions. They're single sessions at a discount. If your clients, Lori, if your clients, Trish, are pulling out their phone and calculating your hourly rate, you're doing something wrong. You're not explaining and articulating the value of the work you do together, the transformation that they receive, and that the power happens in between sessions and the support that they'll get in between. So packages know that single sessions at a discount, and we want to move away from that. Okay. So I'm going to really drive this point home for you because it's so, so important. I want to introduce to you Alice. Alice is a new coach. Okay. She's like, great. I'm charging $75 an hour. This feels awesome. Woohoo. But Alice wants to make $50,000 a year. She wants to start moving away from her full-time job and step into coaching. Well, if you do the math, she needs to sell 55 sessions a month. Yikes. That is exhausting. That is incredibly challenging. That is actually impossible. So let's say on a good day, she could get somebody to even come back for that single session 6 times, like we do in a 3-month partnership, right? That would only be $450, $450 for that container of support, but she'd have to resell them each time, right? So it's just really not very likely. It's not possible. It's exhausting. And it's not in service to the client because now they're focusing on the single session versus focusing on the big picture. So now Alice goes from that therapist to selling the 3-month partnership I described. And she charges $1,500. And with just a few clients a month, she exceeds her goals. She exceeds her clients' expectations. She has her schedule out and she's ready to go. So put in the chat if that feels possible. If that feels, say, put a yes in the chat if you're getting this. So I don't want to, I don't want to keep this going. Awesome. Thank you. So crystal clear. It's very simple. And this is, yes, it feels very possible. Good. Thank you so much, Bob. Thank you, Patsy. Thank you, Luke. It's this tiny shift that you can do from your very first client. Even before I was done with coach training, I sold my first client at $1,500. You don't need to wait before graduation. Okay. And so this is a very specific number. Can anybody guess why I choose that $1,500 number? This came about by accident. Put it in the chat if you can guess. Why 1,500? I was working as a high ticket closer. So I had the sales skills, but not the coaching skills when I went to sell my coaching. And I knew some things like the power of the activation fee. No clue. Okay, awesome. I'm so glad you said that. Thank you. Put it in the chat. Yes. So I knew a few things, and these are some of the things I'm going to whisper in your ear. As a high ticket closer, somebody who had sold people into a coaching program for years, I knew one, that you wanted it to be a really easy activation fee. So if I am doing a 3-month container of support, $500 or even $497 is a really easy activation fee, right? So $1,500 for the full 3 months, Peggy. And I knew typically with $500, people don't need to go ask a spouse typically or move money. It's not just this huge life-changing thing, even though that's, yes, a big amount of money for some people. It's this really easy activation fee. And when I first started selling my coaching, and when you go to first selling, I want you to sell in a way that breaks down these barriers at first. We'll move up to that 3,000, that 5,000, that 7,000 as we get more comfortable overcoming those objections and buying questions. But I want no barriers to entry. So really that easy activation fee, an easy payment plan. So remember I said you can go ahead and get started with that $500 activation. And then your first of 2 payments comes out 30 days later, right? So it's not all these crazy numbers or breaking it down. A confused mind doesn't buy. We want to make sure that they know we've thought through this and make it really easy. So you can do this at half price, right? Let's say you're in coach training and you're like, 1,500 seems like way too much, but 600 for a 3-month container of support feels okay to me. You could do a $200 activation fee, and your first of 2 payments of $200 comes out 30 days later. See what I'm doing here? You can break it down in a way that feels really good for you. This feels like a stretch for some of us, right? Raise your hand if this feels like a little bit of a stretch. Let me see. Let me see. Yes, yes, I love it. It feels like a little bit of a stretch, and that's where we want to go. So if 1,500 feels insane, we start at half of that. If you're like, crazy lady, I'm not charging 1,500, I'm charging 3,000 out of the bat. That's the average cost of coaching these days is 3,000. I'm way better than the average coach. You're going to double that or even triple that out of the gate. But we want it to be a minor stretch for you and also for your client. You're going to be amazed at what happens when you stretch them in this capacity and they show up differently. I remember when I took my first activation fee and I saw the power in this. This gal hired a nanny. A nanny. We hadn't even had our first session. She met with her spouse and had mapped out all of the 6 sessions that we would have together every other week and asked for support. You see the power in this? It's absolutely huge. People will take really bold action even before that first call. Lisa, I want to share with you a few people who've stepped into this, and Lisa is one of them. She's a parenting coach. And for Lisa, it's really, I also teach you, I want you to take calls at certain times of day that feel really good to you. And so I take calls at 9 and 11. I'm hosting this call at 10 o'clock my time because the kids are gone. They're out of their house, out of the house. But for Lisa, that's 8 o'clock at night. She's retired. She wants to get both parents on the call at the same time. So she takes calls in the evening, and for her, $100 activation fee felt really good. Within just a few weeks, actually it was a week, she's a fast learner, she's a retired teacher, Lisa sold a container of support for $1,500. But guess what? She wasn't as excited about the money, which was wonderful. What she was excited about was the way that she could connect with clients on these sales calls and really set her up for success going forward in the coaching relationship. Rachel is somebody who is not even an ICF coach. She's a copywriter. And when Rachel stepped into this, she said, Michelle, this is too woo-woo for my clients. I can't have them do an embodiment exercise on a sales call like I teach. But I said, hey, give it a try. And this had her standing out from the competition like nobody's business. And she was able to really step into this in an incredible way. And I have this video of her from her time during the program. And she was like so excited. Her client put both feet on the floor, did a heart vision exercise, and enrolled in our high price program. Rachel does really, really amazing work. So I shared with you that, now I've hosted over 1,000 sales calls. I've managed hundreds of thousands of dollars in ad spend. And why that's relevant for you is that we need to sell to every client we speak to almost, right? Because as coaches, we only get maybe 1, 3, 5 chances, if that, a month. And so we need to be able to sell them into our high ticket programs because we don't get chances like I did when I was working for other companies. But you get to learn from me. You get to sell just like I did as I've perfected it. I've experienced hundreds of sales, and so I know a client's going to have second thoughts and what we can do to mitigate that, how to help them feel comfortable, how our coaching relationships begins the moment you say hello. It's so important. And I've learned the hard way. And I got to use other people's money, which was really nice to learn this, but I get to share with you. And you don't have the benefit of 5 years and hundreds of thousands of dollars in ad spend to get this right. So we need to get it right the first time. And what's neat, I said I'm going to whisper some secrets in your ear that I already have, but I help you realize, especially through those ICF core competencies, how closely aligned the coaching call and the sales call are. And that fast forwards the learning process for you. I can help you understand that some of the things you do on a coaching call at the beginning, you need to do on that sales call and how they differ. And then sometimes I'm just going to whisper in your ear like this. For our calendars, I invite you to learn from my experience and limit your availability. Write this down and write in the chat for me while I take a drink if this is valuable to you. Is this valuable to learn from somebody who's taken thousands of calls? Because we have 2 or 3, write value in the chat. Yes, if this is valuable to you. Hey, nobody told me this in my coach training program. I get that so many times. Why didn't they teach that? And absolutely, I'm actually looking to put myself out of business because I want every coach training program, I want every, especially ICF coach training program, to teach you this before you graduate. This should be in every coach training program, the sales conversation and integrating the core competencies. So awesome. When you set up your calendar, you'll know if somebody's had appropriate sales training, if they have months open. We are humans. And after we see something, an event like this, or we hear somebody on a podcast, or we read an article, if we go to book on their calendar, we only have 3 to 5 days while our attention and our focus is here. So we want 3, 5, 7 days max of calendar availability. And there's actually a make me look busy feature that you can put on so that it limits your availability for your clients. I mentioned Lisa and that she hosts calls at 8 at night. So that's when she feels best. She knows both parents will feel amazing. I realized at 5 o'clock, I don't want to take sales calls. I have 3 little kiddos. I had to put on cartoons, do all these things that didn't feel aligned for me to focus on the client. And I wasn't enrolling people when I enrolled at that time. Zig Ziglar says sales is a transfer of energy, and I couldn't agree more. So when do you feel your best? When do you want to coach? And that's why it's so important. Erica, awesome. Yes, limiting your availability. Can you imagine hiring a lawyer and they're like, whenever you want to meet, what time works for you? Midnight? Oh, no problem. 5 in the morning, I'll be there. That would be crazy. And so we want to do that as well. Another thing I learned because of necessity, I had kids in preschool, and when I was working, I only had 4 hours a day to work. And I had to limit my availability, or not my availability rather, but how long I hosted these sales calls. And I realized something. I was trying to be nice on sales calls. I was letting people go into story and share all the things and coach them and help them and da 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 da. But it wasn't in service of the client. It didn't actually help them make a decision, yes or no, as to their next best step. And that's the goal of a sales call, not to get a yes, but to get a yes or a no. And something crazy happened when I limited it to 45 minutes. I kept the train on the tracks. I showed up as a professional. I set the intention and I brought them through the process that I had practiced, and more people signed up. So as I started teaching people, and I first taught people when they were in coach training, this helped them. We all are guilty of letting clients go into story. And this helped us say their name. I said, Robert, Michael, whatever their name was, right? Peggy. I said, hey, let's move forward. I love what you're sharing with me, but I help move them forward towards choice. So just write that one down. Laurel is for some of you who are in coach training. Raise your hand if you're in coach training. Yes, yes, yes. I want to see. She sold while she was in coach training. And is anybody a massage therapist or anyone else, a personal trainer, yoga teacher, adding coaching into what you're already doing, I love it, is incredible. And that's actually what Laurel did, why she was in coach training. She was a massage therapist and she integrated coaching into her existing modalities. And instead of selling a $100 massage, she started selling these containers of support that were massage and coaching. Eventually, she moved away from the massage and now just does coaching. So first off, she was like, oh, 3 months, that feels too long while I'm in coaching. I want to do 6 months. And then she stepped up. Her same client moved into a 3-month, $2450 program. How amazing is that? Jordan is a speech coach. He helps people with their speeches and helping them articulate their offers and all the things. He's just incredible. And he's somebody who was like, done. Other people need longer timelines, and we'll walk through what that looks like. But some people, they just step in and they learn it and they sell, and then I can help them perfect during our coaching calls. So I hope you've started to see how simple is this, right? Simple in the chat. Moving away from the single session to the container of support. We had Sylvia who joined the program, and just from this, she could just, yes, keep it if it feels simple. If it feels complicated, tell me. She had a client reach out and say, hi, I want 3 sessions. I'm thinking of joining the coach training program you're in. I want 3 sessions. And because of the work we did together, she was able to say, hey, I don't work that way. I work a little bit differently. Let's jump on a call and I'll talk you through it, and sold them in a $1,500 3-month container of support, right? What a shift. Absolutely. Today, I hope you started understanding the power of that activation fee. And taking money on the first call, not invoicing and automatically taking those payments, are some of these little industry secrets that I can share with you so that you can have a thriving coaching business and not get caught up in things that hold clients back, sending them an invoice so they make that buying decision all over again. Oh, some of the best coaches make this mistake, and that's okay. If you've done it, we'll help you change that. And we go so much more into detail about how you can prep a client, the pre-sales sequence, to be ready to say yes when they get on a call with you. And I've wanted to give you a glimpse into these industry secrets so that you start to see, oh, hey, maybe there's some things, really tiny things to work smarter, not harder, serve and support our clients at the greatest capacity. You are ready now. Your coach training program, other things out there will have you think you need your ACC, you need your PCC, you need a website, I want to hear all the things you think you need before you're ready to sell. What are those fear gremlins on your shoulder? Share it with me in the chat. I thought I needed a website. I thought I needed to get certified through my program. I thought I needed 100 hours. Ooh, insurance, right? I remember getting on the phone. I have insurance. I can help you find out where to get that. But I remember the person saying, I don't understand. Why would you need insurance for this? And they would go over and over and over again. I happen to, because I'm running a group coaching program now, but I can show you a logo. Oh my gosh, I can't tell you how many logos I went through. Put them in the chat, Erica. That's such a good one. What else? What else do you tell me? What else? You need everything. Okay. Oh my gosh, an LLC, right? What are all these things? I remember selling coaching for the first time and thinking, oh my God, the police are going to come for me. This must be illegal. I'm just exchanging my time. I felt like I needed to give them modules, like I needed to do all the things. And what's so brilliant? Oh my gosh, separate phone lines. I haven't heard that one before, Trish. That's so good. Testimonials. Peggy, proof, right? I need proof. Absolutely. I've never had anybody ask for testimonials in my private coaching, a program. In order to sell at this level, I need to be teaching them something, right? I need to be an expert at something. A niche. I need to have defined my niche. All not true. Absolutely not. You are ready now. And this is the biggest secret. And there's all these programs out there that want to help you do all these crazy things before you get ready and you sell. But here's the thing. Those first 1, 3, 5 clients, they're going to change the whole trajectory of how you offer your coaching. If you start working with women who want to go back to work and you sell to 2 of them and you realize, oh my gosh, this is not for me. Or if you want to work with men, right, who are struggling to balance parenting and being an executive, and you don't like the energy, now you're going to go a completely different way. That's going to change your website. That's going to change your offer, all the things. We want to sell before we do all this work, invest all this money. And that's what I teach you how to do. But that creates it's mostly a mindset shift for us, right? Even going from single session pay as you go model, it's in us. It's a shift inside of us. And so all people need all different things in order to make that shift. And we help you do that. Going from practice or bartering to paid, we need to overcome that imposter syndrome, all of those fear gremlins on our shoulder. We need to kick their butt. But we can't just do it with words. We have to do it with actions, with embodied actions, with powerful mindset shifts and exercises in order to move from single sessions to containers of support. Even if you're in coach training, and I actually say for those in coach training, when you practice coach in a container of support, it gives your brain evidence. You go, oh my gosh, a single session was nice, but hot damn, in a 3-month container of support, this person moved jobs. They took their kids out of private school and put them in public. They moved to the country. These are all true stories from me, right? And you're like, oh my gosh. And so now when you go to sell your coaching for $1,500, $3,000, your brain has evidence. It doesn't feel like you're selling air. And that's what you need to really feel confident. I want to share with you a quick video here, and give me a thumbs up if you can hear it.
She puts the feminine back in sales, and it just allows everybody to make a aligned decision for you and takes all the icky sales pushy stuff out. She teaches you how to face objections honestly and authentically, and in a way that it empowers both of you. If you are struggling with the buying conversation or just struggling selling, she teaches you how to sell with soul.
I love her honesty and her directness. She's no nonsense. She knows exactly what I need to be doing. It's about the mindset and how you approach the call, but it's also about you energetically and shifting your perceptions about money and how you approach these sales calls. They're not even sales calls. It almost surprises me a little bit when they say, yes, let's go. And I'm like, oh my God, I just have another person I can now help.
Both of these two are so fun. They're so much fun. And just to give you an idea, I want to really share with you a little bit about their dreams and their goals when they walked into this. And I want you to think about, and I hope you have a pen and paper, I want you to think about your dreams and what it is that you actually want. So often we go on this treadmill thinking, I want to work one way when we really haven't stopped to think about what I want to make, how I want to show up each day. So start to think about that. And I'm going to share just briefly. Sarah, who the second gal pictured in the video, she was a yoga teacher. And during COVID, she could no longer work the way she normally had. So she needed to bring her yoga and her coaching online, but she didn't know how to sell. She had no idea. So she had these years of experience and loved what she did, and she needed to articulate that in an amazing way. So I taught her how to host sales calls, and she got so good at it. And she was such a good learner. She would actually time herself for 45 minutes, and it was so fun to watch her journey. And she would actually enroll 2 people in one day. She did this a couple times, and she would just be freaking out. And that's a really special thing we love to celebrate, is the 2 in one day. So I want to know for you, what is your dream coaching business? Rachel wanted to homeschool her kids. She wanted to move up into the mountains, both of what she's done. She has a multi-six-figure business now, helping people with their human design. She integrated and learned through this method how to not separate out her ordinary and to instead make that her extraordinary and how she supports people. But I want to know for you, what is it that you want? I want to, and just one thing, I want to move away from my job. Share that with me in the chat. I want to supplement my income. I want to impact others. I want them to have that same thing that I had from coaching. So share with me. Awesome. Erica wants to make 6 figures a year and she wants to work from anywhere in the world. So how does she work virtually? What do her containers of support look like, right? So maybe she starts out at 1,500. Then she says, we have a rule of threes around here. Then she serves 3 people at that and then goes to 3,000. And then she moves to 5,000. What does that look like for her? How many clients does she need? And how does she work backwards from there? Awesome. Donna says, keep these coming. She wants to leave a 24-year career and she wants to own coaching to supplement her retirement. Fantastic. Awesome. Donna says, I can't retire until noon the day I die. Coaching is an amazing retirement job. It's an amazing job to do on the side while you're in another role. It's also an amazing job to start stepping out and move into it full time. So how do we do that? And for coaches, especially ICF coaches or ICF aligned coaches, we really need to prospect in a way that feels true to our heart center, right? So type dream life in the chat if you are committed to stepping into this. Yes. If think about that dream life that you want, whether it's working in retirement, 100K, traveling, whether it's supplementing your existing income, being able to buy more Christmas presents for your kids, having the impact, right? Dream life, dream life, dream life in the chat. Yes. So we need to take action. We need to learn the thing. We need to practice, and then we need to do, right? It's not enough to just have that vision. How do we take action into those next steps? And that is what we help you do in a way that feels really aligned and embodied to you. I know from my years of experience, if prospecting in a certain way, finding clients, speaking doesn't feel good to you, selling, you're not going to do it. And when you don't step into that dream life, your clients miss out. Families miss out. Generations miss out. And that is not okay with me. That is not okay. In the unscripted sales program, in a 3-month period of time, we teach you how to sign your next client or your first client at $1,500 or more, right? $1,500 in the chat if that feels good. If you had the skills and the confidence to, on your very next call, sell them at $1,500, what would that be worth to you? How would that feel to you? What if you hosted sales calls so joy-filled that your clients mowed you down at a conference years later? If they tagged you like a client did me when she sold a $50,000, she started off where you are now, actually even more behind you where you are now because she hadn't done that coach training at all. And they celebrate that win because of you, because of what you supported them around. We also teach you how to prospect, right? How to share your work even before you're certified. I love to get people when they're in coach training because that's such a nice time to say, hey, I'm offering my coaching. It's normally $3,000, but I'm offering it right now at $1,500 before I graduate coach training. I'm offering it to 3 clients before I complete my certification. And so when you have that next step, it's this really natural, true, authentic way to do a beta. And people love betas. And it's such a nice way to offer your services. You could even say, hey, I'm selling my coaching at $1,500. But now while I'm in coach training, I'm offering it for 50% off. You can go ahead and get started today with a $200 activation. And your first of 2 payments comes out 30 days later. How does that sound? Good, easy peasy. I love what I see in the chat. Dream Life 1500. Okay, so how do we do this? Now, I've been doing this for 5 years. Over 400 coaches have come through the program, and we help learners however you learn, especially adult learners. We have a 5 steps to choice sales call framework that everything is really based off of, and that you learn, and you'll learn where those ICF core competencies plug in. It's so neat. You'll go, oh my God, I do that on a coaching call. I can do that here. And I say, yes. And I teach you how to do it in this mini version so that you show off your coaching as opposed to giving it away. We do this in this 3-month period of time, hosting bi-weekly, every other week coaching calls. What's really nice is that keeps you on track, but also gives you the space in between to rewatch lessons or to do the thing in your on-demand training that you have access to at any time right away. And you have lifetime access beyond those 3 months. Something fun I use with my clients, and I encourage you to use with yours, and that's the Voxer app. What's neat about that is it's a walkie-talkie app. So you literally have me, $1 million coach, in your pocket. Right now, you don't talk to any of my coaches. You just talk to me. And you get to say, Michelle, here's what I'm charging. What do you think my activation fee should be? Or Michelle, we have Lauren who just joined the program, and she goes, oh my God, why didn't anybody tell me about this? I have a call scheduled with a corporation. And she completely changed her offer. She's not just charging one client now in the corporation, she's charging all of them and bringing people through her container of support. And we talked about it over Voxer minutes after she joined. So it's a really nice walkie-talkie app. You don't have to schedule a call with me. And as a tremendous bonus, we just received accreditation through the ICF. So when you are an ICF coach, yes, thank you, Erica. We're pretty proud of that. What feels really good about that is I feel like the greater community is understanding it's not optional to integrate those core competencies. They are so rich and make our coaching calls so rich. They have to be a part of our sales calls too, in order for the process to be streamlined and feel really good. So let's break this down even further, okay? This is what you, same thing you're going to do with your clients, is help them see what it's going to be like working with you. In the first 2 weeks, we want you to master that sales call framework. Literally, how do I set myself up for success on the sales call? How do I take money? That's a practice skill I teach you. Literally, what do you say to take the money on the call? In week 3 or 4, we're really settling into this, and you have this outline of an offer of what I've taught here, but we perfect it. Now, maybe you're into human design, maybe you're a personal trainer, maybe you are doing work within your religious community. How do we modify your offer so that it feels really good to you? And if you don't have a niche, what does that look like? What does that sound like? In week 5 and 6, and this is actually a longer projection, but I want you to, let's be conservative here. You start having aligned sales conversations. Something really ironic about this is once you learn the sales conversation, you'll find yourself inviting people to sales calls where in the past you didn't realize you were blocked from this before. Just like you wouldn't want to invite somebody to a coaching call if you weren't ready and didn't know what to say. In week 6 and 7, before you graduate, we want you selling your coaching. 1, 3, 5 clients is the goal. And we want you to sell in a way that feels good to you. So if that's $600 for that container of support, that's okay. We'll do 3 clients at that, move you up to $1,500. For some of you in the conversation, you're like, $1,500, I'm doing that right now. We want you to take 3 clients at that and then move them up to $3,000. How does that feel to you? How does that feel? Put yes in the chat if this feels possible to you. Yes, 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 yes. Put yes. It's so simple. And the sale conversation is universal. Everyone needs to know how to approach people, how to bring them to sales conversations, how to prep them for the call itself. Oh, also, we forgot to share with you, we do have some prizes at the end, some cash certificates we're giving folks. So stick around. I know I really appreciate your time today. I want to give you even more of an example. Yes, 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 scary but possible. And that's right where we want you to be. Yes, that's right where we want you to be. Stacy B came in. She was selling single sessions. Nobody had told her anything different. 2 weeks into the program, she signed her first client in a container of support that was $1,500. Today, Stacy sells a 6-month program of support, right? There aren't rules here, 3, 6, 9, 12, whatever, for $3,000. And she sells 3 to 4 a month. Very light and enrolling people in a way that feels really aligned. Stacy just finished a summit, which I was a part of, and that felt amazing to her. And that was a really great way she got the word out about her coaching. Right? Doable, right? Doable. If this feels like it should be right on the edge of, oh crap, right? We want you pushing out of your comfort zone, right? And we don't want it to be too far that it feels impossible. So that's why in the program, we're going to really meet you right where you are so that you can move up into that next level in a way that feels really good for you, right? Doable if that feels good. One thing that's really cool, and I don't know if Crystal's on this call. Crystal, if you're on this call, you have to wave. I asked one of my private clients to come on, and I'm actually trying to get her to coach in the program because she's so good. I haven't asked her yet, so we'll cross our fingers. But I teach the same method I teach to you to sales teams for $20,000 or more, depending on how many people they have on their team. You're learning the same method. This grows with you. I shared that a client just sold a $50,000 program, and she now has sales team members that have come through the program. I messaged them on Vox, and we actually worked together a couple years ago. And just recently, she said, hey, they kind of need to tune up. Can you jump on Voxer and talk them through? We have these 3 clients that feel a little bit stuck. So in the program, this is actually a $20,000 program. And you get it for, I'm not charging you $20,000 today unless you want. Sarah, I said something really fun is we love to enroll 2 new students in one day. Can you imagine? Does that just feel bonkers to you? Crystal, one of my private clients, did that the other day too. And that is just so fun when you exceed your wildest expectations. And that's so much fun for me. Our goal is for you to enroll every client. Remember, we don't have the luxury of clients coming in and practicing. We need to get this right and enroll every client. And we don't have the luxury of selling $75 sessions. We just can't afford to do that. We'll be out of business. Jordan, I shared with you, he celebrated on a coaching call recently, saying no and turning away unaligned clients. How cool is that? And he was like, I actually said no and I felt so empowered. So some of the things you'll do, like you could never imagine. And on a sales call, you're really sussing out if you're the right fit for that person as much as they're sussing out whether or not they want to work with you. We want you to host sales calls that you and your clients remember forever. So just again, to give you a big overview of this, we know you're busy. We want to meet everyone where they are. We have 90-minute live coaching calls. We keep modifying to meet your needs. They were 60, but people wanted more time to practice, to go out in breakout rooms, to connect. So now they're 90-minute live calls every other week in that 3-month container of support. We have 15-minute on-demand modules. These modules get straight to the point and serve and support the heck out of you. And they're just so fun. And then we now have a members only podcast. So right away when you enroll, because if you're like me, I learn in my minivan and I want to hear things over and over again. So you can listen to the call replays, you can listen to the core trainings, you can listen to the bonus monthly challenge around finding clients that we host on that members only podcast, and we give you a code to enroll. So let me dive just a little bit deeper here. And I want you to post in the chat just because I want to see if you're with me still. I don't know. What's a fun word? Deeper. Okay. I don't know. That's a weird word to put in the chat, but I just want to see if you're all, yes, thank you. Awesome. So if you want to know more about really what's happening on these modules, I love it. I love it. Keep posting. I don't want to overwhelm you because I've done such a good job to make it so simple for you to sell right away. But when you want to go deeper and deeper and deeper, we have all the resources for you. So we're going to teach you how to eliminate no-shows. That can be really so heartbreaking in the beginning. We're going to teach you, just as we've started to today, how to activate and take the money on the first call. Even though we're breaking it up into payments, I'm going to teach you how to also get pay in fulls, right? Without distracting it at all. You're going to have the printable framework and the cheat sheet. Sometimes I just tell you what to do. I give you these objection busting cheat sheets and all the things. And I teach you some of these tricks to not be and feel salesy. A big fear of a lot of people is manipulating clients. And we never want to do that. We want to build trust and rapport, establish and maintain agreements really quickly. We want you to be so confident talking about money, even if you're not selling business coaching. We want, when a client says, I was passed up for a raise, we want you to be able to say, you were? How much was that raise? 25,000? So that you're creating the safe space for them to talk about money. We want you to eliminate that money objection forever by hosting a proper embodied sales call. We don't want you to pitch anymore. We're going to teach you how to present the opportunity, not to pitch your services. It's a conversation, not a presentation. And we want you to be able to, on the fly, change your offer. So what if somebody says every other week, well, I want to meet every week. I need to get this done. Are you going to say no? Heck no. You're going to say absolutely. Well, my price is then 3,000 instead of 1,500. Here's how that works. And you'll have the confidence to modify really easily. What's neat about this is you master the core competencies in the sales call, and we actually teach you the sales call framework, and then we show you where those 8 core competencies drop in and how to use them. Seeing the aha on people's face, this moves the learning process so fast. It really slingshots you forward in an incredible way. And if you don't know those core competencies or that doesn't matter to you, we have a track for you. But I actually really suggest that everybody dive into those core competencies because it enriches how you show up on those calls. We talked about a lot that's blocking you is you. How do we get past, maybe you always need to talk to a spouse when you buy something, right? Well, that's yours, not your clients. So how do we do exercises to move past that? Maybe you don't use credit, right? I use credit for everything, all of my bills, and I pay that off on the end of the month. So that's how I purchase. So we want to move away from our things, and I teach you how to set that aside so that you can serve the client in the way that they want to be served. You start to understand the goal of the sales call isn't to get a yes. That's gross. That's manipulative. That feels icky. It's to help a client make a choice, yes or no, as to their next best steps. And I'm just giving you a glimpse here into the 20 plus modules that serve and support the heck out of you. And you know what I don't teach you? I don't teach you one-liners or crazy things to say to get people to say yes. I teach you how to host an embodied sales conversation because that's how you have a conversation about buying questions, not objections, in a really beautiful way. But once you've mastered that sales call, I want you selling to 3 to 5 clients. Post 5 clients. I need some interaction in the chat. Post 5 clients. 5, put the number 5. Once you've signed 5 clients, now it's ready to think about where are we going to get those clients? What is my website going to be? What is my opt-in? What is my niche? And so much more. So these are bonuses, not the core, because our goal is for you to sell first and then rebuild as you go. And you might realize, I've sold clients, no problem without a website. Why even do that? A website can actually hold you back and stop you from signing clients, right? How do I host a workshop in order to support my clients? Maybe you're in human design. Somebody said they're in vision boards. Oh, that's so fun. How do we do a vision board workshop and then introduce what coaching is and invite people to sales calls, right? But we want you to do that. We want to make sure you want to work with those people who are hosting those vision board workshops. And that's why we want you to sell to 3, 5, 7 clients before we get distracted by all the things. Okay. So I told you normally I charge $20,000 when I work with private clients. I'm not charging you that today. I'm so excited for our pricing on this call. Everything we've talked about are listed here. Some things we haven't, like the members only podcast. We now have a LinkedIn support group, accountability partners to help us as we go, monthly calls on 5 ways to find clients. Everything together is a $10,000 value, actually way more than that. I'm being conservative. And we are offering this right now. This is the current price, $3,000. This is what the public pays. Type value if this feels fair, right? I like, yes, type value if this feels fair to sign your next client, to know how to price your services, to step into and think about how to attract those clients in an aligned way that feels good to you. Yes, it's like me going, I would pay double that. I would pay double. Absolutely. Absolutely. So cool. But I want to do something here today, and we're really excited to do this for everyone who is here live. And this is so much fun. And there's a few reasons why we're doing this today. But we are going to share with you a coupon code. Please don't share that outside of the program. And if you could go ahead and put that coupon code in the chat, October 50. And that will give you 50% off when you go to checkout. You can scan that code. We enroll. No, it's just OCT and OCT, just OCT, October 50, OCT 50 in the chat. And when you go to use that coupon code, you can go ahead and do that. And here's why we want to do that. Anybody guess? Why do I want to offer that to you right now? Give me a guess. Yep, October 50, when you go to checkout, that's the coupon code. Love it. Guess it. Give me a guess. Why do you think I want to charge you 50% of the regular rate? Give me a guess. Activation, get you activated. I love it. Anybody else? Come on, I want some more guesses. Why does this feel good? Christy, why does this feel good? Because we're in training. Okay. All right. That's fair. Discounts are fun. Awesome. All right. Keep going. Come on. No more guesses. Bob, what do you think? Lori, what do you think? Why do I want to do this? Because I want you to step into the energy of a high ticket coach, right? I want this to be slightly out of your comfort zone, but not so much that it sends you in overdrive, right? We want it to be just priced right. But there's actually 2 other reasons. One client you break even. I think that feels so light. When you sell that first client, all the others are just gravy, right? 1 client and you have the skills for life. You can and should do this before you graduate. Yes, you got it, Carolyn. 1 client, you break even. Erica, I love it. The potential for higher returns, you're going to take these skills no matter where you go, what you do. You're actually going to learn what I teach you when you go to apply for jobs. Anything you do, these fierce boundaries, it's going to impact you for the rest of your life. So 10 times your investment is an understatement. I want you to 100 times it. But actually, here's the really cool thing, and don't tell anyone, but Ann comes to the live calls. Jen helps behind the scenes. We love when people show up to the live coaching calls. There's so much energy behind that. And if you're somebody who showed up here live at 10 o'clock in the morning and stayed, we know that you are somebody who's going to contribute to our community. And that's actually something I want you to really think about when you enroll people in your program. I have 3 kids, and honestly, my energy needs to be focused on them. And so people in this program need to light me up, need to get me so energized. I don't want people who say, I can't, there's no way. I want them to say, how do I do this, Michelle? Help me figure it out. What is my pricing? Who do I ask? Where do I go to? I want you showing up, raising your hand right away for an accountability partner. If you're an ICF coach, I want you scrambling. We just had Carolyn finish. She was the first person to finish her 16 CCE credits. She wanted to do it before anybody else. That's the kind of energy. And honestly, that's why I want to give you that coupon code. And please put in the chat unscriptedsales.com and go ahead to scroll to the bottom of that page to enroll. And we even have some more fun things to do with you here today. And Jen, if I could ask you before I stop sharing my screen, grab everyone who is here and put them in the drawing. You've stayed so late. I so appreciate you for our Amazon gift certificates, which we'll draw in a minute. And don't worry, I will stay and answer everyone's question. But I want you to practice what it feels like paying in the way that you're going to charge your clients. And this should actually say $497 activation. I want you to break this down into payments. I'm actually not even giving you a pay in full option. You can break this $1,500 down into 3 payments when you use that coupon code today. You get to feel what it's like to pay and join the program and be served every other week for 3 months. I'm so excited to support you that way. You can go to unscriptedsales.com. Sharon says, what if we can't be on those live calls? They are recorded. We will post them for you. And they actually go in the members only portal. So members only podcast, I should say. So I have some more fun bonuses for everybody who stayed on the call today. And that's for those of you who enroll right away, the first 10 people, we actually have a bonus call for you to fine tune your offer. So we've started to think about our offer here today. But what about if you're serving the Christian community or the Jewish community, or you want to integrate massage into it, or you want to do human design, or you want to do vision boards in your coaching and you want that to be a big part of it? We're going to work together in a small group, go out into breakout rooms and get your offer so solidified that it feels so good. You go, the grass is green, the sky is blue, my program is $20,000. We want it to feel really good for you. So just to give a little bit of an incentive to those fast acting people who come through, go ahead and the first people who sign up will give that fast action bonus and you can get started for just that $497 today. Okay, so I'll keep going through this and I am going to stop sharing my screen now and I am going to answer all of your questions. And I blocked off time to stay on and be sure to answer those questions. So I am just so thrilled to have you on here today. Please share in the chat actually while we sit here for just a moment. Share. Awesome. And we already have 2 people that have purchased. We're so excited, Paula and Melissa, to have you in the program. So we have 8 more spots that we'll give that bonus to, but everybody on the call with that OCT code gets 50% off. And I truly, please don't share that with your friends. I want people in this community that we've seen on this call that we know will show up October 50. We do offer a money back guarantee. We suggest you do this with your clients as well. We value our success rates. We value our testimonials. We're working in collaboration with other coach training programs. And so it's really important to us that you succeed. So if you got in and you're in the wrong place, we don't want you here either. We want you to fly, right? And your success is our success. So I want you to just feel confident about that. And we can talk about that as we go as well. Okay. So go ahead and drop that chat. Go ahead and drop that link again for anybody who is waiting, please. And let me pull back up my chat here. Awesome. And Sky, just go ahead and get that deposit in. You can go ahead and get going. Awesome. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to take some questions. Excuse my sniffles. My boys gave me a cold today. Anne, thank you so much. I'm going to pin you, Anne. And if you can unmute yourself and ask some of these awesome questions. Oh, I know what I wanted to do. So Anne, as Anne and I are getting ready, one, to do those drawings, can you post in the chat what you're going to take away from this? The number one thing that would actually be really helpful to me, is it the activation fee? Is it the containers of support? Is it selling before you graduate? What's the number one thing, a guarantee that you're going to take away? Is it the ICF core competencies and integrating in those into the sales conversation? What's those number one thing that you want to? It helps when you write it down as well, because then you remember it too, right? Awesome. It is possible to have a paid client. Yes, Donna, it is possible. And what's neat is this program helps you realize they're right around you. So when we start shouting from the rooftops, you'll be amazed at who comes out of the woodwork. For me, it was an old college roommate of my husband's from OU. Yes, completely insane, right? If I had not started shouting from the rooftops. Lori, thank you so much for being here. Paula, Donna, we're just Melissa. I'm so excited to support those of you who have already came in. A framework for coaching, says Bob. Yeah, an activation fee, a container of support. I love that so much. So please post your questions in the chat around this container of support. And I have to tell you something here that I forgot to put on my slides. But for everybody who joins today, we are actually doubling, yes, doubling the time you have in the program. So we are going from 3 months to 6 months to make sure those of you who are in coach training, those of you who are just starting out, have even more time. That's 6 months of support on Voxer and all the things. I also want to mention, I know we'll have this question come up. If you are not an ICF coach and you're like, I want those 16 CCE credits, you can send us a note and come back through the program when you do get those credits. We'll gift that to you so you can get that work done after you get those credits and dive in. Awesome. Okay, Anne, keep those questions coming and I will hang out. Sharon, you're in. Yes, I can't wait to support you. Go get your work done. Message me on Voxer. I'm actually going to send a gift out to your house. We have an onboarding call coming up and a bonus call that I'm going to send you a private invite to. Okay, so anybody coming in, we will make sure to get you those invites. We're going to send you out a gift right away. And then we're going to get you onboarded and make sure that you don't struggle with anything. We want to make sure it's really clear. So yes, we do have a payment plan. You can go ahead and get in for $497 today. So use that code October, and then you can go ahead and October 50 OCT. Sorry, I keep saying the whole word, OCT 50. That will get you into the payment plan for $497. Go ahead. Perfect. Awesome. Okay, Anne, go ahead with those questions, my dear.
Okay. Oh, I'm already off mute. I thought I was on mute for a second, so we're ready to go. One of the first questions that Bob had actually asked that I think is important just to mention to the whole group to touch upon is this training only for ICF coaches or can anyone join?
Okay, yeah, so fantastic. You do not need to be an ICF coach, but you do need to be a service provider. So if you're consulting or doing anything like that, where you're serving people for a specific period of time, that is what it's for. If you're selling a widget, a watch, a bag, like this isn't going to be right because you're having really deep and thoughtful conversations. We actually have a track in the program, and I'll walk you through that during our onboarding call that shows you, you could go through the non-ICF track or the ICF track. So we make it really easy for you. So please come on in. And we've ran the program for years with hundreds of coaches without having the core competencies. That's something that we've added in the last 6 months. And oh, has it made it so juicy and so good. Okay, go ahead, Anne. Thank you.
Yeah. So another question we had is just on timing. So in terms of timing, like how long will it take someone to learn the whole process of the sales process, along with like if they were to chunk it into say like a week, like how much time should they dedicate weekly?
Yeah, so it's really up to you and how you learn. So we've made it possible that people could literally dive in 2 weeks, jump on a sales call and enroll somebody even less. Lisa did it in 1 week. She's a teacher, and she's she's like, I'm doing all the things. Jordan jumped in right away. Other people take longer. Sylvia, I mentioned in the program, she sold within the first month that she was in. But it just really depends on you. Some of you are saying, hey, I'm not ready to charge, but I am ready to practice differently. So we'll help you right away practice differently and sell that practice coaching. And we'll really ask you to only do that 3 times. Right? We don't want you to get stuck, which we see people get stuck in this rut of giving it away for free, bartering, and your brain thinks that's how you have to work. So when we have the rules of 3, that's really nice.
Awesome. And then we have had some questions. Sorry, I'm just looking over here on the group on the live coaching calls. So one question, really there's two. So one is like how many coaches are typically on those group live coaching calls? And then just like the logistics, like when are they? And then what day are they
Yeah.
on?
Okay, so awesome. Thanks so much. So the calls are every other week. And then once a month, we have a bonus call, which we talk about 5 ways to find clients. And we have a challenge in the group. The calls are 90 minutes. They're typically held on Tuesdays. And we give you a subscription to a calendar so you can see them really far in advance, and you can know to plan out your schedule. All the calls are recorded, and in order to get the 16 CCE credits, you don't need to be on the call live. But again, that's why we're giving you this discount today, is because Ann and I selfishly love to have you there. So often it's people who sell and then they're like, I don't need to come to the call. We're like, let's get even better. Let's raise your prices. Come on back, share your wins with the community. Those are the kind of clients that we want. So you can expect anywhere from 12 to 25 people on those calls. And we really like that number. And that's a really nice way to go into breakout rooms, but to still feel confident and say, like yesterday, Ann and I were on a call and she was like, that way just doesn't feel aligned with me. How can we figure out a way that feels in alignment with me? And we talk through it with the group. And so it's not so big that you don't feel uncomfortable speaking up. Yet there's a big enough group to have people to practice with, to get ideas, right? For the gal who said the vision board, right? You're going to have so many ideas from other people in the group. From our parenting coach, she sends socks to people as a gift. So you get all these ideas for things you can give to people and how you can operate your program and program agreements and all the things. So it's just really, really fun. Sharon, I'm so happy you're in. Patricia, Donna, Melissa, Paula, this is awesome. Super excited to support all of you. And for the first 10 that come in, that's just a fun bonus. We're going to invite you to that workshop to fine tune your offer ad nauseum. We get nervous on sales calls. And so we want to practice it so much so that it's not memorized, but close to, so those words flow out of our mouth under pressure. Absolutely. Okay, go ahead. Oh, let's draw those names. Let's draw at least 2 of those names. Do you mind? So sorry to keep everybody waiting, but I do want to answer everybody's question.
I have all the names.
Okay. All right, let's do 2 now, and then we'll wait a little bit and do 2 more. So for 2 $25 gift certificates, we have, name one.
I have Larry Cormickle, if he's still here.
Larry, yes, he is still here. Awesome.
And Patsy Fox.
Woohoo! All right, Patsy, come on down. Put your name in the chat. And actually, what I would love for you to do is email info@michellerockwood.com in order to claim that gift certificate. And what we do is we just email those out to you right away on Amazon. When you come in, Sharon, Patricia, Donna, all of you who are already coming in, please follow those onboarding instructions. We've tried to make it as clear as possible because we want to get that welcome gift out to you right away. And we can usually ship it and get it by the end of the week. So please kind of follow those next steps, and you can connect with me on Voxer, and you'll get the calendar link for that onboarding call as well. So yay, awesome, awesome. Okay, Annie, let's do those next questions. Anything else?
Yeah, there's a few more. I do just want to speak on one thing about the live calls again too, is they're like my favorite part of working with Michelle. And one of the reasons for is like, one, I'm a traveler, so like I travel all over the world, but two, it's cool to be in a community of people that like are from all over the world. And like it's just so special to me to see each week how like every single person is kind of learning from each other in different ways. So they're really cool, and it's really cool to see people like practice and evolve. So those live calls, I just want to like overemphasize how special they are within the program.
We hang up and we debrief after each, and we think about how we can do better and serve clients better. And I could not agree more. What's really neat about the ICF coaches is that we pause and we'll teach something, and then we'll say, how do you, right, help a client dream and scheme? How do you do a specific core competency, evoke awareness on a coaching call, for example? And then we sit back for a few minutes, just like we've done here, right? And people start giving us their answers. And we go, okay, how could you do that on a sales call? And they're like, oh my gosh, right? So a great coach doesn't just say, do this, do that, do this. It helps the client realize what they already know. And that's what Ann and I get to do on those coaching calls. And it's just so much fun. Oh, you know what I haven't mentioned, Ann? Is so there's so many bonuses in here, but Ann is really good at graphic design. And so we wanted an incentive, and we do this each month. We have an October challenge coming up. And in September, we wanted folks to go in the LinkedIn group because we had just opened it. And so Anne made 30 beautiful templates in Canva for people to share about their coaching. So for folks who were in coach training, they had templates. For folks who had graduated, ahas, events they have coming up, jump on sales calls, right? So we gave you the templates in Canva that Anne designed. And what's neat is you can say, hey, Anne, I want X, Y, and Z, and she can do it for you. And then we share it in the community. So what is possible with us is just beyond measure, and it's just so much fun. So awesome. We're so excited to have all of you joining us. It just makes the experience so much more rich. Awesome. And I want you guys to unmute yourself too if you have a question. It's no problem. It's a small group now, so feel free to unmute yourself. If you want, I'll change my view so I can see you. But Anna and I will just keep those questions going. And then I'll actually, for those of you who would like, I will share my screen and I will show you how to go to the website and enroll. And I'll show you behind the scenes once you get into the program, just give you kind of a taste and help you navigate a little bit for those who have already come in. Bob, did you have a question?
Yeah, I work with a client that sends me oh, I don't know, 5 or 6 managers at a time to help them think through management styles and employee engagement and everything on that in that realm. Do you have information in the program on how to sell to corporate clients then?
Yeah, absolutely. So this arc of the sales conversation is really the same. So the core 5 steps to choice doesn't really change, but and that's why it's so nice for us to have Voxer support, Bob, because
Hmm.
you're going to be able to say, okay, well, the activation fee, I can't actually do that with a corporation on the call because of the way they pay. Right. And so it's going to be different in the way we
Yeah,
take the money, in the way we onboard clients. But really, the arc of the conversation is the same, and that's a learned skill. And I
yeah.
sell to corporate as well. And I can actually move people through a lot faster. And you'll learn to do things. I actually did this with a consultant recently. You'll learn to move into their vision as opposed to focusing on their logic. So
Ah,
often, especially with corporations, you're doing all the facts, right? But folks don't make decisions based on facts. It's intuition, it's how they feel. And so you're going to kind of swing back a little bit too far in this
hmm.
direction in the program. And then I'm going to help you kind of move it right back to where it should be. So you'll really think about your pricing in a different way, but mostly it's going to be how you take the money and how you charge clients and being more patient. So we teach you how to set up the second call. So if a client is a yes and, I need to do X, Y, and Z, you might have 2, 3 more of those calls.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what's going to be a little bit different. And Bob, that's really going to be where the Voxer comes into play. And we talk about it specifically. We actually have Lauren in the program who's working with corporations as well. And we've had a blast talking through it. And she went, it sounds like you're already serving 5, but she went from serving a small group to getting bigger and bigger and bigger
Yeah. Yeah.
within the corporation. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Glad to have you, Bob. I hope you're coming in.
Yeah, I put a question. Is the offer still available tomorrow?
Yes, it's
48 hours?
available for 48
Okay.
hours. So yes, we love those action takers also to like take a deep breath, like, nothing's like disappearing tomorrow. But we do love people who came live to the call to get that. And so that's what we want to record
Excellent.
reward is that.
Excellent.
So yeah,
Thank you.
you're good.
Very good. Very good stuff.
Awesome. And go ahead and unmute yourself. Anyone else? And I'm sorry, I'm trying to keep up in the chat here, but there's a lot. Anything else? Let's call those other 2 winners. Okay, Carolyn asks, I'm just going to go through these as they call up those winners. We teach about tech on how to collect payment. Yes, absolutely. I mean, we won't teach like we can always jump on a call and help you actually if you want. But we'll say, yes, here's how you set it up in Stripe to collect a deposit, those auto payments, so on and so forth. We do have modules on creating an LLC, all those fear gremlins that are stopping you. Some people do need to move through that. Robert's going to register when he gets back to his office. Awesome. Awesome. Great. Yes. So anybody having trouble with that code, please let me know. So Donna's asking, is there an introductory meeting? Yes, we have an onboarding call, and I will go ahead and send you that link where we're going to talk through everything. Make sure you're got the members only podcast. That takes a second. Make sure you're signed into the modules, add that calendar, make sure we have that gift sent out to you, make sure we're connected on Voxer, and make sure you feel settled and ready to go. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, let's call those folks those last 2 winners, and then I will answer any questions if anybody wants to unmute themselves. I'm going to share my screen, show you behind the scenes, and walk through purchasing on the website. Woo, Donna, we're already connected by Voxer. Let's see. I love it. If you're not familiar with Voxer, it's just my favorite app. I literally take answers or take questions when I'm skiing. I will like pull over and be like, no, don't send the payment link. Here's what you do. And, my family's like rolling their eyes at me, but it's so fun. It doesn't feel like work to me. I actually had my husband take a picture of me as I was on the chairlift, which is not a good idea, answering a sales question on Voxer. Donna, if you've never seen Voxer before, where are you, Donna? Are you still here? Oh, yes. Can you unmute yourself, Donna?
Yes, I'm in Van Buren, Arkansas.
In Arkansas, so you've never used Voxer before?
Never.
Awesome. Well, what's funny is that so often people will text on the Voxer. So try to get used to, if you can, Donna, sending me voice recordings.
Okay, I will try, because when I hit the little cell phone icon, it went ring, and I went, oops, she's on a call.
No. So hold it down and then message me. And so
Okay,
you can,
I'll try it.
Yeah, do it. Okay, let's see if I get it. It's such a fun way to connect in real time. And actually, like, Ann and I will kind of like banter back and forth on it with clients. It's so good. You can hear in their voice. And that's the really big thing, especially with sales. Lauren, for example, she was asking, where do I go in the program for this? Where do I go in the program for this? What do I say? What do I say? What do I say in preparation for a call? And I said, hey, cut it out. I said, cut it out. Stop looking at the stuff, rip it up, throw it away. I want you to concentrate on your brilliance. I want you to focus on listening actively to the client in front of you. I want you to go take a walk around the block, put your feet in the grass, feel amazing. Trust in yourself, right? Donna, that's what you do on a coaching call, right? You trust that the words are going to come out of your mouth, right? Like you've done the work. Now you set it aside and, it's like in universe, God, whatever it is, like I trust my brain to say the right thing. I trust that I've had the training. And like, hot damn, she's like, I did it. I did the thing. Oh my gosh, it went so well, And she's like, here's what I could do better next time. And but I did the thing. So fantastic. Donna, what about this like feels good to you? What are you excited about? I'm so excited to have you.
I'm excited because I went to University of Texas, Dallas. That's the program that I attended for the level 2. got my ACC and now my PCC, and I have yet to have a paid client. I am an internal coach with a very large corporation, and I really want to think about retirement because the coaching space is what I love. I
Mm.
don't primarily coach for the company, even though they utilize me for that. That's like my volunteer role. I don't know if anybody on the call understands what that means. But it's just really, yeah, Bob, you do. I saw you raise your hand. Let me think about that. So I do want to know what it's like to be able to have that space where I can help others. The ability to be fully present, that value that those few moments bring. And I just really want that for myself. I want to
Yeah.
enjoy that world. Many decades in corporate America, and I would love to have that coaching space that I've dreamed of.
Absolutely fantastic, Donna. And I'm so excited to celebrate, like looking forward, I'm like looking forward. I'm so excited to celebrate that first client with you outside of your coaching role. And I have to say, I get a little bit angry inside because what an experienced coach this is, right? A PCC coach is 500 hours, right? More. She has more than 500 hours.
Almost 600 right now.
I started this because I was working inside of a coach training program, teaching the coaches how to sell. It's all I knew, right?
Mhm.
It's all I knew. And I had developed this program. I was teaching the clients 40% of our graduates before they graduated. You saw Laurel sold their coaching.
Mhm.
And then I took for market research another coach training program, right? And I was like, what are these really high end programs that are charging 20 grand? How are they teaching their clients to sell? What does that look like?
Mhm.
It didn't exist.
Mhm.
Not one client in the very high profile, one of the like most, there was nothing that taught a client how to host a conversation, how to deliver their services,
Mhm.
how to think about enrolling people in an embodied way. We can't just teach a random marketing technique, right? Okay, let's teach podcasting to everybody. That's silly. That might not be aligned with Donna. She might not want to do podcasts. But speaking at ICF conferences might feel really good to her. She's in corporate America. Hosting a workshop and connecting with the HR professional might be something that feels really good to her. So thinking about how we work in that way. And I was like, this isn't okay. Not like, oh, here's a great way to make money. Like, this is actually not ethically okay to teach somebody to be such an amazing coach and not give them the skills to implement the very thing, especially when coaching has changed my life so much and my family's life. So, yeah, fantastic. Donna, I'm so glad you're here.
I
Um,
appreciate it. I appreciate your,
yeah,
and I would say yes, you are correct. The programs do touch on it, but they center mainly on the space and when you're the core competencies when you're with the client, which is valuable.
yeah,
It's truly then what do you do? What's that
yeah.
next step? So thank you so much.
Yeah. And what I actually love and why I'm excited, I always joke like I look forward to putting myself out of business is coach training programs don't realize that these core competencies work in the sales call. They don't realize that. And during coach training, I took an ICF coach training program, a third. I couldn't stop putting my hand down. And I was like, oh my God, this is what you do in the third section of a sales call. How do you not see that? And they were like, can you please be quiet? Like, and I was like, oh my God, oh my God, everybody needs to know this. Everybody needs to know this. So ironically, the coach training program that isn't teaching you sales really set you up for success. And I'll show you that very quickly. For you, Donna, it's going to be like that. So you'll just be like, oh, establish and maintain agreements. Oh, of course I do that at the beginning of a sales call, right? Like, and you'll see how to do it. Paula, do you mind unmuting yourself and sharing? We're so excited to support you.
Sure. What would you like for me to share about?
What are you most excited about as you step into this?
What am I most excited about? Let's see. I have I have attempted to work through a number of different programs to just build my business. So I'm leaving a near 30-year career in public education where I was a high-level administrator for half that time. So I have a lot of knowledge and wisdom to give. And I've gone through different programs that make really wild claims about, helping you have these insanely successful months. And I find there's lots of over-promising and under-delivering. So it was refreshing to be in this space today, and to hear you describe a level of support that will be provided that is realistic, that is grounded in research and best practice, that connects to something important and valuable that has worth in the world through the ICF competencies.
Yeah.
I totally think this field's going to be regulated in the next 10 years. There's just a level of integrity. So I'm really excited about what feels like something I've finally found that can help me take all that I know how to do and find some success with it. Because for me, there's no turning back. I decided to do this. I have no option but to be wildly successful. And so I appreciate the integrity of what you're offering.
Oh my God, I can't wait to help you. Like, yes, Paula, thank you so much for being here. These are the types of coaches we want in the program. This is exactly who we're looking to attract. And yes, there's a time to scale your program, right? And all the things. I want to help the people that people aren't helping. Like, you really got it right here, Paula. The best of us that are going to sell to 2 or 3 people a month. And they're going to be okay with that. And they're going to say, hey, this feels great in retirement to have 2 or 3 clients a month that have goals like Stacy, and they're okay. Hey, $100,000 is amazing and feels really good to me. And that's valuable. $50,000 to supplement my income, even $25,000 in coaching income is going to matter to me. It's going to matter to my family. There's plenty of people helping people that want to scale their business to $1 million, that want to, say anything, stand on their heads, take pictures behind the airplane, all the things. I want to drive my kids to school in a minivan and like feel amazing about the life I live, be present for my children, and work in a way that feels amazing to me. And that's how I've set up my business. And that's what I want for you. So I'm really glad I attracted you, Paula, because this is exactly who we're looking to attract in the community. So happy to support you. Okay, we have two more gift certificates. Please put those. And I'm so sorry I've waited so long. I just really get to talking. And while you do that, I'm going to share my screen. So go ahead, Jen, share those names, please.
All right, so we have Trish Wellen and Paula Shannon for the last 2.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here. Oh, perfect. Perfect. Melissa, are you in? Yes, Melissa, you're in too. Awesome. We're so excited to support you, Melissa. If you want to stick on, I really want to talk to you, but I do want to share my screen here. So you can go to unscriptedsales.com. And then if you click here, it can scroll to the bottom. Normally your monthly payments would be $1,000. You put in your first name, last name, your email address. Okay, everybody can call me now. And then it'll bring you through here. And then you put in the coupon code here. So here's where you go, October 50, and hit apply. And that will bring it to $497. Okay, and then you can do Google Pay or a card that you have, and you'll be good to go. And we will send you out your gift right away and get you onboarded. I love that we've already connected in Voxer. What I do, make sure you email me if you got a gift certificate so we can get those over to you, info@michellerockwood.com. If you need to leave, I completely understand. We're heading on like 2 hours here, but I want to show behind the scenes here. How can I do this? Okay, so when you come into the program, you can either start the program, Melissa, if you're on here still, and click through and watch the videos, or you can scroll down and navigate this way. But I just wanted to show you, for those of you who aren't ICF certified, you'll see on the calls, like module 1, there's 2 of the same modules, one that doesn't have the ICF coach stamp and one that does. So that's a really, really nice. If you also just need to watch it really quickly or get it done, you can listen to this. And then this one has the core competencies in it in order to get those 16 CCE credits. We have modules about onboarding and all the things, and then we break down the 5 steps to choice. I wanted to show you this. We actually have you listen in on sales conversations using this method. Now, these are face-to-face, but for client privacy, we've done only audio and erased any, information. But you can listen in on, this is Shayna's call. She sold a $50,000 client now. This is not a $50,000 client she's enrolling. I can't remember what she sold this client for. You can listen in on some of my first sales calls. But what's really neat is that you're learning this method, practicing it. Then you have the 5 steps to choice framework in front of you, and you're like checking off the boxes and kind of, okay, Michelle, she established and maintained rapport. Oh my gosh, I heard her do it. Oh my gosh, Michelle, X, Y, and Z. And so you can listen in and you see how simple it is. And this is me enrolling people in that first $1,500 program. So I'm not enrolling them in a business thing, so on and so forth. We have down here our 5 ways to find client calls that we do each month, coaching call replays, and then this beautiful library of resources. So what's really neat is that you can actually click here and get all the cheat sheets, all the things, the September challenge, the October challenge, and so forth. We put them all in one place for you. And then, it just goes on and on. I want you to focus on that top stuff first. We even have the website I use. We partner with them to help clients when they're ready to do their opt-in and build their website. So if you like my stuff, I can show you and introduce you to that team as well. They're very inexpensive and they do Russ Rufino sites and all the things, but they're really nice and supportive. So awesome. Well, thank you, everyone. And I will hang out and just keep answering questions. Melissa, can you unmute yourself? I'm excited to get to know you better.
Sure. Hi, Melissa. I live in New York City.
Cool.
And I just got certified through Claire Zammit for women-centered coaching.
Fantastic.
And I'm now, it was a lot of work. I'm now applying for the ICF, the first level ACC. So I'm working through that and maybe going back to finishing up the work and coach you. So I'm like, I might as well just get it all done.
Yeah, good.
And I am literally in the middle of designing a 12-module program.
Okay.
And I'm piloting on a paid client right now. I just sent her module 4 and I'm dusting off and finishing module 5 today.
Yes.
And I'm ready to get started. I've always wanted to be a coach, and I stopped years ago because I live in New York City. I need to make money.
Yeah.
And I want to make the difference that coaching provides, but I also, want to thrive and prosper. And my boyfriend is constantly like, you need to get clients, you need to get clients. And I'm like, I don't know how.
Well, we'll not only teach you what to say, we'll start thinking about that how, where is that next paid client, and how can you price that program? A beta program there's something so funny about beta that people love to be a part of it. So thinking about what you want to charge when it's all done and absolutely perfected, right? Is that $3,000? Okay, our beta is 15 for these first 3 clients that come in, you can offer it at that. And what does that feel like? And they're a part of the process. And, that's what we've done here as well, is really made it an environment where people can speak up. And they'll be like, Michelle, you swore in that video, like, go find it and, fix that. Or there's this glaring typo, or, the video glitches out. And so creating an environment like that where people can give you feedback is just so nice. And then they're a part of it, right? Like, I'm a part of your growth and we build and grow together, which is really exciting. Melissa, we're so excited to have you here.
Yeah.
Follow those onboarding instructions, get your program agreement signed, and we just can't wait to support you.
Thank you. Thanks for being
awesome. Larry, Cindy, Carolyn, please unmute yourself and ask any questions that you have. Happy to answer those for you. Cindy, Larry, Trish. Carolyn, Bob, here. We have one person unmute themselves. Don't be shy.
Just a quick question. I had put it in the chat, but is there? I'm not sure exactly how the the ICF works? Are there different organizations that supply the training that you go through, or is it just
Um,
one?
yeah, great question. So the ICF is the International Coaching Federation,
Hmm.
and they have really become the go-to for coaches that aren't consultants. And so really, if kind of you want to work, it's, it's not a regulated industry right now, but they're kind of leading the charge. And so there's thousands, like 10,000 coach training programs that are ICF certified.
Okay.
And you have to meet certain markers and understand certain core competencies and host sales or host coaching calls a certain way in
Hmm.
order to get that ACC and then that ICF stamp of approval. So
Okay.
actually, Bob, you'll get a taste of it in the course if
Sure.
you listen to those, and it's things like listen actively,
Yeah.
right? How things that you're doing naturally, they've done a great job of putting a label on it and teaching people these core skills that every coach should have in order to coach effectively. So
Good.
yeah.
Great. Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you, Bob. Looking forward to supporting you.
Yep.
Um, yeah, and if there's any other questions that you have, Bob, happy to answer those. Larry, how are you doing? And these guys maybe have walked away from their computer, so I'll hang out for just a few more minutes. Melissa, look forward to connecting with you. Bob, you as well. Trish, super happy to have you guys all on the call. I'll put in the chat. Maybe they'll answer me there.
Michelle, quick question. In the program, do we have a chance to practice, I don't know, like a sales call or a consultation or even a coaching moment to get some feedback on our approach, how we look, how we do,
Yeah.
tone of voice, all that stuff?
Yeah, so first off, I think we have a few more spots in that 10, the group of 10 for the bonus workshop. But that's an example of where we're really going to dive into your offer and what you're saying. We ask you to partner up with somebody in the program so you two
Hmm.
can meet one-on-one. And then we have breakout sessions in the program as much as possible. We actually have a call that I have not added to the calendar that I need to. Annie, if you can remind me of just this, because that's part of the ICF requirement is getting on and getting feedback on your coaching call. So the answer is in little bits, yes. With partners, yes. And we can even do that if needed on a bigger
Okay.
scale.
Okay. I always enjoy feedback on how I came across and,
Yeah. No, that's what I
things
do
like
with
that.
private clients is they
Yeah.
send me recordings of their calls. And honestly, I'd actually be happy to do that with you.
Yeah.
We couldn't go overboard, but yeah, you can send me a
Yeah. It's just,
recording of a practice.
I feel comfortable, but I always like to have additional feedback because things change.
Yeah. Well, what's neat is I can say like you did like these 5 things awesome. Like don't stop doing those, but like your offer is way too long.
Yep.
Just like these little things, like way too much detail, right? That's when we're always stuck in is all the detail. So,
Yep.
okay, can and I'll say,
Guilty as
okay, go
charged.
back. Yeah, go
Guilty as
back.
charged. Yep.
Absolutely. Awesome. All right. Well, if there aren't any more questions, we will end for today. I'm just so happy to have you all here. Thank you so much. Email me at info@michellerockwood.com. If you have won a prize, and I will get that over to you right away. Larry, Trish, Cindy, one last call. All right. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you so much.